Hey, what's up, everybody? We're back with another Reddit Ask Me Anything. We got Jonathan Big Baby Miller. How you doing, sir?
How you doing?
So, is it Mr. Big Baby? Is it like how did you get the nickname Big Baby?
Um, about 2012, I was in the gym training, and the coach I had at the time, I didn't have this beard or nothing, and he told me, he says, "You're like a big ass baby," and it just stuck ever since then.
So it's more of a baby face.
Yeah,
Okay, because I was gonna say
and it's
you
like
would be
I
like,
don't hear nobody else with that name or nothing, so I was like, damn, okay,
yeah. I think I've heard like a basketball player with that nickname, and I think there is actually a
really,
boxer with that nickname too. Yeah, but yeah, I mean it's not a very common one, so I wasn't sure.
okay,
You look like the scariest baby. If someone was to be like, oh, that's. I mean, you're a very intimidating looking guy.
yeah, yeah. I mean, I get that a lot.
We talked to Tomahawk Townsend, and he said I'm a sweetheart. I just happen to look like like a big scary guy. He's like, but I'm actually a really nice guy. Would that be the same for you?
Yeah.
All right, good to know. Well, now I was worried. I was worried going into this interview. I was going to say something, and then you were going to come track me down, and it'd be a bad day for me.
Nah.
All right, so I want to know like how'd you grow up? Like where'd you get this toughness? How did you grow up?
I grew up in the boonies, man. Like I lived in a town of maybe 5,000 people, if that. My high school had 200 people in the whole school. And I came up rough. My dad raised me. He was ex-military and everything, and I just came up rough.
Okay, so your dad raised you, so like single dad, or like I mean you had a
Yep.
family but your dad was in charge. Single dad?
Not just a single dad. Yep.
Okay. Did you have like I mean did you guys do cool fun stuff together like hunting and fishing and all that, or was it mostly like sports, or like how did that go?
I mean, we blew shit up all the time. I mean, he was special forces in the in the army and stuff, so we blew shit up all the time. We lived on a ranch, so yeah, we hunted. We took. I mean, I had cattle and everything else. So I mean, I came up raised on a farm.
Do you have any siblings?
I do not.
Hence, your mother probably had one big baby, and then she's like, "I'm not doing that again." So like the one big baby, and she's done, right?
Yeah.
All right. So combat sports, like, did you were you doing karate and shit? Like, were you playing football? Like, how did you get into like what sports did you play starting out?
I played football mainly. I mean, I played a little bit of baseball too in high school, but football was my outlet. It was most aggressive, so that was my outlet on everything. And I became a star in that and everything else until I messed my leg up, and then it just went from there. And I saw fighting on TV, and I was like, okay, this might have a little game changer to it.
Okay, so you're a football player and you're a star. Like, what position did you play, and how did you hurt your leg?
I was a middle linebacker, and I went to spring training and at Troy University, and
Oh, cool.
when I was coming back home, I came home and I got in a four wheeler accident. And it shattered my leg.
So if you shattered it, do you have like pins and stuff in your leg, or like a plate
Yeah,
or
I
anything, or
got a
it's
rod hold. Yeah, it broke my shin bone in half, and I got a rod. It
Jeez.
held it together.
Okay, so I know you did MMA. Is there like, I mean, to me, that's always weird to have like a metal rod in your leg and you're able to kick people. Like, could you tell the difference between your two legs or no?
I could. They didn't know about
Yeah.
it.
Bounce that piece of metal right off their forehead, right?
Oh yeah, I would check the shit out of them.
I bet that's awesome. Okay, so, I mean, how long were you laid up with that injury? Did they tell you, like, I mean, were you predicted to make a full recovery, or were they kind of like, I mean, a four-wheeler accident sounds kind of bad, so.
No, actually, I wasn't never supposed to walk again, and I couldn't accept that. But it took me. It was over a year before I could even stand on my leg again,
Oh, wow.
and probably a full 2 years before I started actually being able to like do stuff on it.
And what age were you when that happened?
I was 17 when I broke it.
Oh wow, okay. All right, so you broke it. You're laying in the hospital. You're watching UFC. So you said you wanted to be an ultimate fighter. You wanted to be like an MMA guy, or you wanted to go into boxing, or what?
I didn't really watch too much boxing. I saw MMA and I saw how violent it was, and that's what I wanted. I wanted the violence of it.
Okay, so when you start training MMA, did you go to like an MMA gym, a boxing gym, a jiu-jitsu gym? Like what part of it? So like do you like the stand-up part of it or
Literally, when I took my first fight, I got up off the couch and went in there and just I banged it out. I didn't know nothing about nothing. I didn't know no move. I didn't know no submissions, no nothing. I knew how to throw hands. That was it. And I barely could do that.
all right, so your very first like how old were you for that? Were you 17? No, you were 19 probably, right? Or a little older than
Yeah,
that.
around 19. Yeah.
Okay. Okay, so you're 19. Sorry, I got a cold. I was at the fights this weekend. I got a cold. Okay, so you're 19. You get up off the couch. You go for a fight. How did you do?
No, actually, the promotion, I'll never forget it. It was the promotion. I don't even know if they're around anymore. It was called Lights Out Cage Fighting. And the dude, like, he went to put me in a headlock, and I picked him up. And when I slammed him down in the ring, all the lights in the ring went out. And so I had that like little remember. There were those lights out cage fighting, and like I slammed him so hard the lights went out in it, and he ended up giving up after that.
So why are you not Jonathan Lights Out Miller? That's such a cooler name, and it's such a better story. Like I slammed a guy and it literally knocked all the lights out. That's a badass name.
Chris Lotto has that one. He's good.
So James Lilly's got that name too, and I suggested that James Lilly and Chris Lytle fight, and whoever like won got to keep the nickname. But James Lilly said he's okay with
Yeah, I'll take Chris all day on that one.
it. All right. Okay, so how like your MMA? Like how many MMA fights did you do? Did you do? I saw you did like a boxing fight for I think Game Bread, right? You did a Game Bread boxing match.
Yeah,
Like so,
yeah,
you've done
I did
boxing.
my pro. Yeah, I did my pro debut boxing with Game Bread. I won it in the first round. He ended up giving up. But like amateur wise, I don't know what my record ended up being. I mean there were some times I'd fight like every weekend.
Okay.
I'd fight as much as they let me. But I ended up having it was like 78 amateur fights with
Okay.
MMA, kickboxing, and boxing combined.
Okay. So, how did you find out about BKFC?
I actually I moved to Pensacola and I started training at a gym. And the gym I was training at, Dylan Kleckler was training at
Sure.
it.
Okay.
And that's when I saw him do it, and I was like, okay, because I was about to retire. I was gonna retire from fighting and everything else. And then I seen that, and I was like, wait a minute, because I got tired. Like most of my fights that I lost, I got submitted because I hated the groundwork. And I
Sure.
was like, this is a game changer. And that's when I was like, I'm gonna try this out.
Okay. So, how old are you currently?
I'm 31.
Okay. So, do you did play football? You got a little bit of banged up body. You broke your leg. So, absolutely. Now, all you got to do is like a little bit of cardio and work your hands. So, like the whole workout for BKFC seems to be like revitalizing so many people's careers.
Oh yeah, it's less
Okay.
stress on your body.
Yep. Okay, what do you like fighting at 205? Is it like is 205 your home? Are you going to go up or down or you don't really care or
I don't. I mean, I don't really care. I think we talked about me going to 185, but I don't like it. I don't want to cut that much weight.
yeah.
205. I mean, I walk around at like 250,
Okay.
and I cut to 205, so I'm a strong 205er.
Yeah, I was going to say like I've seen you and you've got so much muscle mass. I don't know how you could get down to 185. I mean, I know like we were talking to Mundell and I think he said he walks around at like 220 and cuts down to 175 and I feel like that's crazy, but yeah, like a dude who's muscular like yourself, there's no way you're going to drop that much weight.
You know, my one of my sponsors, Max Fit Nutrition, they hooked me up on my diet program and everything else. All my supplements and everything else. I mean, they really take care of me on that part.
Awesome. Okay, so you find out about BKFC from watching Kleckler. So then, what was the next step? Like you found out about it. Then how'd you get involved?
Posted. I think I posted on Facebook looking for management, and that's when Carlos he wrote me, and me and him started talking and everything else. And I've been with him ever since I started, and I won't go nowhere else. But he hooked me up with the tryout down in Jacksonville, Florida, and Lorenzo Hunt was running that one.
So you said Lorenzo Hunt, and you kind of rolled your eye. Like Lorenzo is a very polarizing figure. You love him or you hate him. I love Lorenzo when there's not a camera on him. Super nice guy. You throw a camera on him, and I'm like, bro, he's a 180. So you seem to have like a little bit of an issue with him, or not really?
I do. Um, my last fight, my mental toll wasn't there. I was going through some custody battle stuff and everything here at home with my
Okay.
daughter and everything else. I have no excuse. DP's a good fighter, but when I got knocked down, I could hear everything, and the thing that stuck in my head the most, I could hear Lorenzo Hunt over by ringside saying, "Get up, you fucking pussy," and that stuck in my head.
Eesh. Yeah, he I've watched lots of fights and you see Lorenzo in the audience and I feel like I've never heard him not talking during the fight. So yeah, that has got to be hard for you to hear. And I mean like you just said Sawyer's a good fighter. So it's not like you lost to a bum. Sawyer's ranked in the top 5, you know.
Yeah.
Okay, so bouncing back like who do you at 205 who would you like to fight? I know you were calling out Chris Camozzi there for a while. So like other than Chris Camozzi, who would you like to fight?
I either want to redeem myself on damn, my mind just went blank, my bad.
Sawyer?
DP, I either want to redeem myself on that because I know I can beat him. I know I
Okay.
can. If I'm all the way there, I'll will beat him. I want that, and of course, I want Lorenzo Hunt. Like, I want to show his mouth.
Yeah, absolutely. Okay, so I'm like going into your fight before they announced your fight. I saw you and Esteban. I thought you guys would be on kind of a collision course because you guys were both like 2-0 at the time. You guys were both knocking the shit out of people, and I thought they were going to give you guys, kind of match you guys up, and the winner would be clearly top 5. And then they went and sent Esteban against Jomi, which didn't make a whole lot of sense because Jomi's a 185-pounder guy. But anyway, and then you lost to Sawyer. So, like I said, I still think that either Keegan, I think, would be a good fight for you, or Mohawk himself.
Actually, me and him were scheduled to fight, and I forget what happened. I think I hurt my re-injured my hand
Okay,
because when I fought Dustin Long, I had surgery on my hand and I hurt my hand pretty good, and I think I re-injured it because they had a schedule, and then I pulled out of that one because of my hand.
sure. Okay, well, I had no idea, so that's kind of interesting. Yeah, like I said, you guys had that trajectory going that you guys were both like absolute knockout artists, and I thought they were gonna like put you two both. You guys both seem to have the same like fight style. Like, let's get in there and beat the shit out of each other. You know what I mean? Like, there's not a
Yeah,
whole lot of defense.
he's real sloppy. I'll put it that way.
Yeah.
I don't know him. I have no unmassing against him or anything, but he's just sloppy.
So you feel like it'd be a pretty easy fight then for yourself, or
Yeah, I would end that fight in the first round.
okay? Okay, so I heard that you actually got you. So you said you went to Jacksonville for the tryouts. Like we're getting quite a few people that are asking about the tryouts. Can you explain like what you had to go through and like and what you had to do?
That tryout actually, it was all we started out doing cardio from the get go. Like it was nothing but cardio, just punching drills, punching the bag, working the bags, and at the end, after everybody was wore out, um, I actually boxed Lorenzo Hunt.
Okay, how'd you do?
I did very well. I mean, I hit him with my jab a couple of times, and he hit me. I think he was hitting me as hard as he could. And I got pictures and stuff of it. I just started laughing at him.
Yeah. Yeah, I don't know. Like I said, I know everybody wants a chance at the champ. So I mean you could certainly earn your way up there. That'll be interesting for you. But okay, so
I don't even
you
care
did all
about that.
that.
I don't even care about that belt really. I just want to hit him in his mouth.
Just want to hit him in his mouth. All right. Well, maybe you'll get your luck. Um, so when you did do the trial, so who else got picked from the trials that you did? Do you know?
I mean, the truth, everybody that because they picked the top 5 guys,
Okay.
and not to this day, I don't believe I've seen any of the top 5 guys fight.
So we talked to Tony Soto at one point, and he said he did a tryout, but he said going in that he could tell who was going to make the team, like that he felt like the people that were running the tryouts at the time had their favorites, and they made the team
Yes.
guaranteed, and that it was like the underdog guys that it was going to be hard to make
Yep.
the team. So same for you.
Yes, because you had people because it was thrown at a certain gym, and there was a lot of people there from that gym, and all the top five guys were from that gym.
I see. Well, it's great that you have a success story that you rose above all those guys and you end up making it.
Yes, yes.
Okay,
I'm very
so
blessed on that part.
good. Okay, so all you guys who fight, everybody thinks like you're a prize fighter, like that's how you make your money, but clearly that's not true. So what do you do for work?
I'm actually a certified welder.
Certified welder. When I weld, it's splattered. It looks like shit. So like, are you one of those guys that does like the nice beams or what?
Yeah.
I had no idea. Like I watched a show and it was all about welding, like how you have to wear like the gloves and all, like the whole body, because all the UV lights and stuff like that. You get like sunburn really bad. You could risk
Yeah, I don't even
getting
wear
it.
that shit.
Well, you are a big baby. Like, of course not. You got that big beard. Um, how did you get into welding?
I mean, I did it in high school and everything else, but a good friend of mine that I consider a brother, he got me into it. I was traveling the United States, welding and building distribution centers and stuff like that, and that's where I learned how to own job training, and I learned how to weld, and I got certified doing it.
So, do you still travel, or are you locked down at a place now?
I actually just got back in town from traveling to start this camp and everything.
Okay. Okay. So, what were you doing up in Pennsylvania?
I was working inside the Hershey facility up there
Oh,
where they make
cool.
all the Hershey chocolate and everything.
Sure. My wife says you can smell it like from miles away, like you smell chocolate. Is that
Oh,
true?
as soon as you walk out your motel, I'm like 7 miles away. You can smell it.
Okay, so you're up there. Like, are you training the whole time? Do you have to like? Is it one of those things like you have a fight coming up? Like, do you train in the gym, or do you like talk to people and go to gyms and train?
I didn't this time. I would have if I was out there. I didn't really know nobody much there, so I mean, I ran in the morning times and stuff like that. Do a little bit of cardio. I go lift some weights and stuff like that. Not too much. That's why I came back home to start my camp and everything.
Okay, and so who do you train with now that you're back home?
Uh, One of my coaches is Tanner Edwards. He runs a gym out here, and then I also train with uh, Trent Banks. He's the one that he used to train Dylan Kleckler and everything else.
Okay, is there anybody else that's at your gym that fights BKFC or?
I'm the only one now.
Oh, that's pretty cool. So do you feel like mostly do boxing drills and then like you take off the gloves for a bit, or like how do you train?
Yes, I hit a lot of mitts. I don't take off the gloves until a certain amount of weeks away from uh fight. About 3 or 4 weeks out, that's when I start conditioning the knuckles in real good. I mean, I condition them, don't get me wrong, but that's when I don't put gloves on at all no more. About 3 or 4 weeks out.
Okay. So I was just hanging out with El Gallo down there. Do you punch cinder blocks and hit yourself with baseball
Fuck
bats and
no,
stuff?
no.
He's a different
I'll get
breed,
like
but that
I got
guy's
a board.
legit.
I got a board that has like maybe a half-inch mat on it.
Okay.
It's a 4x4, a piece of mat, and I'll do that, and it does my hands pretty good. And I'll dip them in sand and everything else to build calluses on it. But I ain't beating my hands with no sledgehammer and shit like that.
He's a different breed, but that guy is such a nice guy that you know what, it worked for him. Like he ended up winning, so he just he went from not
Yeah,
being ranked to got to be like number one, number two contender now. So
he keeps them knuckles conditioned like that. He'll have a long career.
yeah, you know, I was talking to Keegan, and this is before I met Gaio, and he goes, "Holy shit, you will not believe this guy's knuckles." He goes, "I only wish that my knuckles would get like as crazy calloused and as like
Yeah.
big as that dude's knuckles." So okay, is there any sponsors you'd like to shout out, or like teammates, like anything you'd like to do?
Every one of them, I actually put my sign up behind me and everything else. That's all my sponsors I have. I mean, thank you for having me on. I mean, I need to do more interviews and stuff too. I mean, I'm being a lazy bum.
You do kind of have to sell yourself. It's one of those things, like you know, like you get
Yeah,
out what you put in. So like definitely, I would love to see you do more. Yeah, because I was talking to a good buddy of ours, Russ, and he goes, "Bro, you got to have this guy on. He's like the nicest guy, but he's kind of shy, so he doesn't do a lot of interviews." And he felt that
yeah,
my format would be good for you. So
yeah. I appreciate it, man.
great. All right. Well, I look forward to seeing you in the future. Like I said, this is going to be a big fight. I'm excited to see it, and hopefully you get a win. That'd be great.
All right. Yeah, me too, man. Me too.
Oh, before we go, quick, do you remember your very first street fight? Do you remember the first time you ever got in a street fight, like school or actual street fight?
Man, I've been in so many. I
So
used to
many, huh?
just we had a lake where I live. I just walk down there just to look for something. I've always been a fighter since growing up. I just always wanted trouble.
Yeah, that's what I was curious about. Like, I figured, like, okay, this guy's been in a lot of fights when he was younger. Okay, and if people wanted to follow you, Instagram the best way, Facebook, what's the best way to get a hold of you if people wanted to follow you? And
Facebook or Instagram.
okay, I'll be sure to include links to those on the YouTube. So,
I appreciate it, man.
all right, man, thanks so much, appreciate it.
All right, thank you.